I am scared that this video is going to piss some people off, but I will hashtag speak my truth. I will also preface by saying I've heard a few things, two things with sources, that I will be referencing, not quoting exactly because I don't have them pulled up in front of me or anything, but I will be talking about. One thing that I was not really given a source for, I couldn't find it anywhere, but, I heard, so I will include that in this conversation about Mizi and Mizi's character, particularly post the last comic. Spoilers for that. Please, please, please go read that because it is a life-changing read. It is so 10 out of 10 and does wonders for Mizi's character. Thank you. So now that all of the people who have yet to read it are gone, or welcome back if you read it and came back, thank you. Mizi from Alien Stage. Oh, my girly, one of my two favorite characters, her and Ivan. They stay winning. They do not stay winning, actually. They are losers in the game called life. Yikes. But anyways, so Mizi in the latest comic, is getting really mischaracterized. And the thing is, a lot of people are talking about, the mischaracterization of, thinking that she is manipulative and evil. But, why aren't we also talking about the mischaracterization that she's perfectly innocent and sweet? Because that is something that bothers me, and that's what I'm most fearful for in the making of this video, is, this is a comic where she is criticizing the idea of her being perfect and sweet and innocent and stupid and naive and all of those things. She hates that image of her, but she has the fawn trauma response, and that is what she does, and she people pleases, and that's particularly what it's about. And I can't comprehend how so many people read this entire comic and went, oh, she's fabricating, she's mistaking her past interactions and, remembering them wrong. And it's what? I've heard multiple people say that, all of these past interactions aren't actually interactions that she's had. She's just misremembering them. I've seen actually multiple people say that. And, while I agree that Mizi, is, not a manipulator per se, or evil in any way, shape, or form, saying that she's fabricating or misinterpreting her past conversations and stuff is huh? Yeah, sorry, that's all I have to say is huh. She is not perfectly sweet and innocent. Stop treating her as such. Do I think that she's so cunning and that she wanted things to turn out this way, like her inner voice was telling her? No. That is 1,000% survivor skill talking. But also, there is, some level, not some level of truth behind it, but some level of truth behind it. That's the best way I can phrase it. Something that I brought up in the TikTok video that I made is that, at best, she's willfully ignorant. At worst, she was fully knowledgeable and pretended not to be. With this, I will concede the fact that she was not fully knowledgeable because there is in the DISC, Mizi Suwa, I don't know if that is short for DISC or if that's short for Discover. I should shut up. In that book, there is a monologue that they took out on Mizi's end where in it she's if I knew you were gonna die, I wouldn't, be standing there like an idiot or something like that. She is harsh in her wording, quite frankly, which is super banger because, you can see that in this comic specifically, this kind of harsher side of Mizi. It's oh my gosh. It's not a long monologue, but I don't remember all of it. So, but that is a part of it, is her being if I knew that you were gonna die, why would I just stand around there like an idiot? Yeah, okay, I can concede that she was not fully knowledgeable. However, I point out, what does she think that great addict is? If she believes that they die and get a great addict. I can't imagine that she thinks positively about it. I can't imagine that she believes that the winner of Alien Stage goes on to become, a star, but who is obviously exploited, in pain, and, goes on to, do alien stage over and over again, for their guardian to get money, and for, them to just be exploited over and over again. And, you could be like, Mizi doesn't know that they're exploited, but, it's like, yes, she does. She knows how most guardians treat their pets, their humans. Come on, guys. She was friends with Sua, Ivan, and Till. None of their guardians treated them particularly great, if we're being honest. And there's no way that she's oblivious to it. Sua talks about it. She saw Sua be, mistreated by her guardian at least. And, furthering on, if she thinks that the winners get that, what does she think that the losers get? They just go to a place called Great Annecht and they just live there forever? They're separated from their guardians, maybe? Or what does she think goes on in Great Annecht? I can't imagine that she imagined that'd be good. And I can't imagine that she, as a little kid, would hear, oh, they go to Great Annecht, and not ask any questions. Not a single question? She's not wondering what Great Annecht is, how things are done there. She has to at least somewhat, even if she thinks that they go to this place called Great Annecht, she has to at least somewhat consciously know that it's not a great place. And I feel like what it is she mentally is going, oh, if I don't ask, then I don't know, and therefore I can pretend that it is a good place. As a kind of trauma response. Kind of that own, fawning yourself. And whether it's conscious or subconscious is fine. It doesn't matter. She's still willfully ignorant. She still knows reasonably in the back of her mind, at the least, that, something is wrong. And here's where I'll bring up this other thing, where someone was talking about how, in an old live stream, Vivinos or Qmung or someone said that Great Annecht, she was told that it was because, losers are, honorable. And so they go to, Great Annecht, which is, a great place because, it's an honorable thing to be on alien stage and even lose. But I wasn't given a source for that, and I don't really trust it. I can't imagine it. I'm so sorry. You really think in a world where every third human, yeah, at least, every other human is getting abused by their guardian on a daily basis, you think that they're gonna let the losers of a show go to a great happy place? Mizi's not stupid. Mizi is not stupid. And that's the thing of this comic. And that's what pisses me off so bad, is she's criticizing the idea of her being stupid. She slaps Sua when Sua insinuates that Mizi's life is easy. Because it's not easy. It's really not easy. And Sua has her own things going on. And that's why Sua is so dismissive, is because she is literally abused by her guardian. And her sister is, let's be honest, not great. Her sister is coming from a place of actual, real, genuine care and protection, but also not great. And so she dismisses Mizi because she knows that Mizi's guardian doesn't treat her that badly. And, she thinks that Mizi is living a relatively easy life. But Mizi's not. Mizi is suffering. Mizi just got slapped by a guy who told her that she can't be friends with other guys because obviously all, men and women are only there to mate with each other. Because homophobia exists in the alien stage world, crazily enough. And misogyny. Literally, the result of Mizi and the way that she's seen is just because of misogyny. She is reduced to being a pretty face. And so she will continue to just be a pretty face and feign this cute, innocent look for anyone because she wants them to like her. Even though she hates this idea of herself, being cute and innocent, she still follows along with it. Because, what choice does she have? She's just trying to survive. And people were like, oh, she's not doing anything to survive because she obviously didn't care about her own survival in round 5 of Alien Stage. And I agree. I do agree that she does not care about her survival in round 5 of Alien Stage. I don't think that she, I think that round 1 through round 7, or round 1 through Week, is fully, actually, genuinely Mizi's real reactions, not glossing anything over. That is who she is. I think that in round 1, she did not expect Sua to die. Even when I didn't have that confirmation that, she didn't know that the losers died. By the way, I would like to say really quickly that the reason that I wasn't sure about it after seeing this comic was because I had only really seen it mentioned in the article after round 1 where Mizi is talking about how, she thinks that the losers live. And in that, they also talk about like her wanting to tie with Sua. And so I was thinking, before I found out that, that with the whole disc Missy Sua was that she could have been lying there. She probably isn't. Now we can see that. But still, either way, she expected to tie with Sua. She did not expect Sua to die. She fully crashed out on Luca, as she should, and those were her real-time reactions. She did not give a fuck about whether she lived or died in that situation. She just knew that she was grieving, and this asshole was pretending to be her in a way, and was like touching her sensually, and was right, and was triggering trauma responses in her. And then, I think that when she joins the rebellion, I think that she genuinely wants to. I think that she genuinely wants to, dismantle Alien Stage and stop the aliens. And, I think that she was genuine in her sobbing as Till died, I trust all of these things 1,000% to be real and honest on Mizi's part. I think that it's what happens in Anict Garden that is more her putting on a mask. And I wouldn't call her a manipulator. That's super not the word that I would use. Someone better described as people pleaser. I think that that's right. Because it's not that she wants like, oh, I'll act this way to this person to get this thing. I'll act this way to this person to get that thing. It's not planned or calculated. It's just her going, people like it when I'm sweet and dumb and innocent. So I'm going to be sweet and dumb and innocent. My friend was even talking about her in context, in parallel to Luca. And said, they're different in terms of manipulation, if you can call it that for Mizi's, because Luca's manipulation is offensive, and Mizi's is defensive. And I like that this depiction of it. I'm honestly not sure that I have a lot to say about, the conversation that she has with that boy, because, obviously, like, her first, like, she's actually, I'm gonna be honest, kind of meek-core with that, because when she's, talking to him, she's like, I don't know what I did wrong. Obviously, I did something wrong. Please tell me what I did wrong and everything will be okay. While she's like, crying and clutching her cheek where she got smacked. And then later talking to Sue, she's like, I just don't know what I could have done wrong. Like that self-blame that she that's also a sign of her guilt manifesting in herself. And how, that happens later when her friends all die, While talking about Mizi in the new comic, I will talk about, like, the scene with her and Till, but also people who are hyper-focused on this scene because of Till make me so angry. Guys, Mizi finally got a comic, and we are spending all of our energy talking about Till in it? I see. It's just crazy how little people care about the women in the Alien Stage fandom. It just annoys me. But anyways, I'll still talk about it because it is something that is important, both to Mizi's character and to me, and, even to Till as a person who really enjoys Till as a character. That conversation between her and Till, where Till automatically responds with, because you're pretty. Till does not love Mizi superficially. He loves an idealized version of her, I would say, But that's kind of how most young love is. Till's crush on Mizi is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And like the scene in Blink Gone, at the end where they're like children and, you know, like, man, like it really, like, my heart, like, you know, like it means so much, and it is so symbolic of his hope and optimism for the world. But also, he does see an idealized version of her. He imagines an idealized version of her. When he likes her, it is because she is happy and optimistic and able to see the light in every situation, you know? He is not seeing her when she is, you know, she has a slap mark on her face and she is breaking down trying to figure out what she could have possibly done wrong, while also knowing fully well that she has not done anything wrong, and having all of that rage build up inside of her while she's trying to figure out what she did wrong, you know, and lashing out at someone she loves because of the insinuation that, you know, her life is easy, you know, as a result of so much built up, you know, held in anger. That's not the version that Till sees. Till doesn't see that. Till doesn't know that Mizi is like that, because Mizi doesn't let him see that. And so he sees her as this optimistic, happy, innocent girl. And that's why he likes her, is because she is optimism. And it makes him more optimistic for, you know, the future, the world around him. So yeah, anyways, that's just a whole thing. But obviously, when Mizi hears the words, "because you're pretty," she doesn't hear any of the actual, like, real, you know, reasons why Till actually, you know, latches onto her like this. She hears that and she goes, okay, I'm a pretty face for people to look at. I'll be a pretty face for people to look at. And, like, that really is what, like, solidifies this comic as so good to me. And also the fact that she knew the entire time that Till liked her, that was a jump scare for me. I didn't realize that. I thought that she was fully oblivious. But no, like, she knew, and she still hung out with him, and, you know, was still very friendly with him, because she did value his friendship, even though she knew that she thought that it was superficial. Also, people are talking about how, you know, Mizi, Ivan, best friends, and I agree. They're my favorite characters, so, like, I, like, legally have to agree. They're, like, the cutesy-wootsiest, like, have you seen them? But also, once again, it's not the focus of this comic, and I feel like the amount of people who are talking about Mizi Ivan are, like, far surpassing the amount of people who are talking about Mizi or Mizi Sua, and it's, like, once again, this whole thing of, like, you guys, this fandom only cares about the men, and it, like, drives me a little bit crazy. I feel like we need to be able to talk about Mizi and Mizi Sua without bringing up Ivan or Till or Ivan Till or even Luca, you know? And, you know, it's one thing to bring them up when drawing parallels, but I feel like people have lost the ability to talk about Mizi without talking about any of the men, or lost the ability to talk about Sua without talking about any of the men, or lost the ability to talk about Kenna without talking about any of the men. Whereas they have no problem talking about any of the men as characters by themselves. You know? But whatever. We're gonna move on from that. Anyways, I just would love to restate that I really adored this comic. I think it did wonders for Mizi's character. I think that, you know, I'm so excited to see what the next episode could be. People are speculating that it's gonna be, like, a full Mizi Sua content, and I would adore that, actually. I think that, I am someone who likes things to be, like, holistic, and so starting with Mizi Sua and ending with Mizi Sua is so 10 out of 10. I know that the next video is not necessarily the last. I heard that there's, like, gonna be a few more, you know, but a few is a vague amount, so who's to really say? I will also just really quickly, I don't have a lot to say about this. I don't have any real analysis. I'm kind of just going to say something that is, like, going to be the coldest take, and you guys are going to pretend to eat it up, okay? Okay? Thank you. The art that accompanied the comic, of Mizi laying on top of everyone's bodies, smiling, obviously uncomfortable. Obviously uncomfortable. Her eyebrows are very strained. Her, you know, mouth feels strained even. Like, I don't even know how you draw that, but like it's visible, her discomfort. She's obviously uncomfortable. And, you know, she is, you know, trying to fawn herself again, I suppose, is what it is she's like, see, look, you were so smart. You did all of this. Be proud of yourself. And she's not proud of herself. She is not cunning. She did not plan all of this. She did not want to see her friends dead. She did not want to win Alien Stage. She wanted to be with Sua. Full stop. So yeah, anyways, lukewarm take. Freezing cold take. I know. But yeah. Mizi is 1,000% a victim of survivor's guilt, but also the comic was not entirely just her survivor's guilt. This does add a level of depth to her character outside of just the survivor's guilt that is now confirmed. That was just implied before. You know, it adds to her willful ignorance, which is still not cool. Like, you know, which doesn't make her a bad person either. As much as being willfully ignorant isn't a good thing, it doesn't make her a bad person. I don't know that I could consider anyone in Alien Stage a bad person due to the context of the world that they are in. And that's where I'll leave that. Yeah, I don't think that I can consider any Alien Stage character a particularly bad person. And I think that Mizi is still one of the most morally sound out of the characters. She's not an abuser to Sua. She's just living in a dystopia, as well as every other character of Alien Stage. So yeah, when I say every Alien Stage character is not a bad person, I don't mean the Guardians. Full stop. Just want to clarify that before someone comes at me. But yeah, anyways, that's like basically all I have to say. And maybe I should make more Alien Stage content. I don't know. I'll see how this one does. I need to branch out of just making To Be Hero X content, because as much as I love To Be Hero X, there's not always going to be content for me to make for that. And I have a lot of other interests that I would love to be a yapathon about. So yeah, if you like hearing me yap, thank you. Please subscribe and like, and I don't know, all the buttons or whatever. Comment. I love getting comments. Please discuss with me, but please don't be mean. I cry really easily. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So, bye-bye. Thank you. Mwah.